that a little bit now. We're going to use MTG Goldfish for this. I'm also going to be leaving chat off just because I'm mainly just going to be rambling through this. I'm going to be uploading it to YouTube either tonight or tomorrow. So if you want to check that out, go to my YouTube channel and check it in the past broadcasts. So I should have typed in meta. So we're going to check out the MTG meta. For those of you who have not been living under a rock and playing Legacy on a regular basis, you'll notice that, well, Miracles is the most popular deck in the game. Very good deck. It's been on top for a long time now. And I think people were kind of sick of seeing the list. And I mean, it's a pretty basic Miracles list. Or this list specifically. Never mind, it is not basic at all because I think this is Ely Cassis's list. Yeah, because he won the event. Yeah, people don't normally run this. But, yeah, so with Miracles leaving the format, it kind of opens up the space for a couple of things. And one of those decks specifically, well, here, let's go to MTG Top 8 so we can have something to look at while we discuss. So we're going to go to mtgtop8.com, and we're going to see, or I'm going to show you some of the decks that I think are really well positioned, the list that you should be playing in leagues over the course of the next couple weeks. And let's start off with the first one. So a deck that's been very good in leagues, I often call it a league deck. People play it a lot, more on Moto than real life, but in the most recent Legacy event, it actually did quite well. And that deck is Elves. So let's see if we can find a good Elves list. Maybe we can even use the Jessup list from the event of Worcester. Yes, we can. We've got the Andrew Jessup deck right here. I just lost it. All right. So with Elves, I think this is going to be Tier 1. Now, why do I say that? Here, can I just crop out this advertisement? Because it's just taking up a little too much space for me. Yeah, whatever. So, yeah, that's right. Get whatever this is. So like I was saying, I think this deck is going to be very good. I'm assuming you can just take this list. Don't know why you wouldn't. And one of the primary reasons for that is a card like Terminus. Terminus pushed this deck out a little bit. Just a little bit. I mean, he still did quite well with it. It's just like when your opponent has a 1-mana way to wipe your board, it's just a pain in the ass. So you don't want something like that to happen. But I think Elves is just going to be one of the best decks outright. Number 2 on the list. A lot of these are going to be combo decks, by the way, because I think the combo decks did just get a big bump in the format. And the second deck, everybody knows this deck. It's Storm. Specifically Ad Nauseam Tendrils. I did say that I am now a fan of Tess. I didn't like Tess for a long time, like a year and a half. But I would say decks like Tess. Tess is maybe better because it's just faster. And being quick and proactive may just be the way to go. Like I'm saying, combo is more important. Also, like, not having to deal with counterbalance top is great. And the sideboards are all going to be different because, you probably don't want 4-decay in your sideboard now that counterbalance is leaving the format. Or not counterbalance, excuse me, that Sensei's Divine top is leaving the format. But yeah, any version of, Tess or Ad Nauseam Tendrils, I think is about where you want to be. Of course, you can't run the version with one Sensei's because Sensei's is banned. And then let's see, what else do I think? Oh, I think 12 post is going to die a little bit, like the Eldrazi post. Like the ones that go bigger versus like the Chalice of the Void and Trinisphere versions. I think those will still be fine. But the ones that are trying to like hard cast Emrakul and like Ulamog are going to recede a little bit further into the format. Just because I think things are going to, at least for the first couple weeks, be a little bit quicker. And that people will be experimenting with combo decks control decks that are even quicker than like a Miracles deck, let's say. Also, Burn. This is going to be a good one. And because people are going to be experimenting so much, that's a good time to play Burn because people are going to be using weird mana base. I mean, we could just take any Burn list because they're all fairly similar unless someone's running some kind of main deck Miracles tech, which they are. They're running Sulfuric Vortex and Sensei's Divining Top. So that's by far not even remotely the kind of Burn list that I would say, oh yeah, he's just playing the regular one. Okay, well, maybe we can't find one without Sulfuric Vortex in it. Because that's some serious anti-Miracles tech. Eric Hunter, maybe? Okay, so this is a little bit more normal because it has like Rift Bolt, Price of Progress, Lightning, Bolt, Lava Spike, Flame Rift, Fire. Like, you want all of these things. There's also that new card that's coming out. I'm not sure if that'll be played in Legacy. I think it's good enough, the Harsh Mentor. So let's see, we went over Burn, Elves, I went over Ad Nauseam Tendrils / Infect. This will be a deck that I'll probably be playing, Infect. Very big You've never seen me play it on Moto, because Inkmoth Nexus just costs more money than I'd like to spend on it. But this is a deck I played in paper for a pretty decent amount of time. Because it's like Delver, but it's a combo deck. You've got your small dudes, you've got your mana dude, you've got your 1 and 2 mana guys. This is like your pseudo Tarmogoyf. This is like your extremely terrible Delver of Secrets because it does not have flying, nor does it flip. But you get to use your dazes and your spell pierces in a tempo manner, but you get to close out the game quick. And that's what you want. Just like I was mentioning before, people are going to be playing Delver decks. Delver decks will I'm not even going to bring up Delver deck. There's like 8 different variants. I'm sure we all know what Delver is. But Delver is going to be a pretty good deck in the format. It didn't really have a great Miracles matchup. So you're going to see that. I can't even say coming back because it's just been around. It's Delver. It's always been here. You may see decks like Rug Delver come back. Maybe I'll bring that one up on camera a little bit later. But I think that, in fact, is a deck that will come back and will be good. I'd like to see Tom Ross pilot this to a nice little top 8 finish. So let's see here. We went over a lot of the proactive decks. Sneak and Show, I believe, should be up there. I might have mentioned that a little bit earlier. But I think that this deck is going to be great. I'm going to be biased because I like the Jace the Mind Sculptor version because I just like Jace the Mind Sculptor a lot. It's a sweet card. It's an alternate win con. It gives you play in situations where you don't have play. But you might be able to cut the Jace because that was more for slower matchups. And you may just want to be proactive, quick, close them out, run. Because he's running Jace on the board. So you could run like 2 Jace in the sideboard. But, you know, who doesn't want to party with Jace the Mind Sculptor? So just run 1 Jace, whatever. The deck is still really quick. But this is definitely another combo deck that I think is going to be good. I would also say, oh, well, conveniently, this is here, which is Black-Red Reanimator. I mean, the deck is good. It just... There was a period of time where it was one of the more popular decks on Magic Online. It was a very popular League deck, to say the least. And I tried adapting with, like, Fairy Macabre and things like that, and that eventually came my anti-tech because they can leverage their card Chancellor of the Annex so that your counter magic becomes kind of bad. Like Force of Will, if you don't have any mana, you can't force because it's just going to get countered. So cards like Flusterstorm and cards like Fairy Macabre are good answers because Flusterstorm actually still works because it only counted the first one and you can still use the copies. But I think this, just like aggressive combo decks, like I think most proactive turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 combo decks will be good. I think Food Chain will actually not be as good anymore. To go over some of the decks that I don't think. 12 Post, I already mentioned that. I think 12 Post isn't going to be as good anymore. Stoneblade, we've all seen Stoneblade. I believe Stoneblade is going to be coming back as we've seen a little bit of that today. Played a couple games against Rogue earlier. Some people were saying Pox could be making a comeback. I think that would be interesting to see Pox. Tezzeret Control probably wouldn't be as well positioned now, I would say. If you want to take a look at that. I know Joe Lissette was playing this like a week or two ago, or maybe even more than that, if time has just gotten that far away from me. But this is Tezzerator. This is a deck that existed like a while ago and like receded into the mist of legacy, and people playing a little bit recently. But I don't think this deck will be horribly well positioned in the format. Jund and Junk decks, maybe. I'm going to be playing Jund for sure. I'm going to be experimenting it. But when it comes to like BGX decks that don't have blue, I just don't know. I'm really not sure. If Elves is really popular, Jund would be good. Because you get Punishing Fire, you get Lightning Bolt. I mean, Hymn to Turok's not particularly very good, but Thoughtseize is okay. But your unfair matchup is terrible when you're on Jund or Abzan. Or Junk, whatever the hell you want to call it. Because you just don't have force, and if you're not Thoughtseizing or hemming, you're just playing creatures, or maybe you're playing a Planeswalker on turn 2 or turn 3 through your Deathrite Shaman. So the combo matchup for them will be bad, but I think that it could be well positioned against things like Delver, or like, because people are going to be playing their 4-color control decks, as they will. Given that the bigger blue deck has been leaving the format, you're also going to be finding people to replace that space, that void, that control void that Legacy is only now missing, which is, I mean, Control's occupied the tier 1 spot for years, almost 2 years now. So I think combo and tempo decks will do a little bit more of that, but I think that people will be experimenting specifically with what I mentioned earlier, Stoneblade. I think that's the 3rd time I've said that now. And like the bug mid-range decks, you could see Shardless, although I don't believe that people will be trying to jam Shardless into... And like Ancestral Vision into Leovold is just not where you want to be, I don't think. I think that if you're going to try to break into Legacy with a blue deck, that 4-color control is probably your best break-in point. It's a little bit quicker, but at the same time, you can lock someone Not really lock them out because there's no counterbalance lock, but let's see if we can find a 4-color control deck, in fact. I'm not sure where you would find it on here, so let's switch websites and go to MTG Goldfish, because I know the deck is certainly on the top tier of that list. Now, of course, all of these are completely irrelevant because, I mean, as you can see, Miracles is banned, or rather, that Sensei's Divining Top is banned. So let's see here. We've got Grixis, Storm, Sultai Control, Reanimator, 4-color control. Here we go. This is what I needed. So this is more what I was referring to with 4-color control. The less Hymn to Turaki version and more the Night's Whisper, Oliver 2's team at Worcester. The 20. This might have been Oliver 2's version, the one that he was playing. But I think that this deck is actually quite good, but it needs a couple changes. Like the card Spell Snare, I don't actually think you need it anymore. It's okay. I would maybe cut it just for another Fatal Push or something, because like you don't really need to be super gunning for blue. I think Culligan's Command is going to be really good because they're going to be a decent amount of artifacts. Given that, let's mention Stoneblade for the 4th time, I think Culligan's Command is going to be pretty good. Kill your Stoneforge Mystic, blow up your Batterskull, blow up your sword, blow up whatever, blow up your Jitte. Although it's hard to blow up a Jitte and a Stoneforge Mystic after I already connected with you. Same with the sword, but the Batterskull's a little bit different. But I would definitely try experimenting with this. I don't think this will be a good starting point, but I definitely think there's going to be a blue deck that comes out on top that isn't Delver. That is a slower variant that isn't like cripplingly slow, but like, I don't want to say mid-range, but like a medium blue deck. Like a medium tempo deck, because Delver's a little quicker. I mean, it plays 1-mana creatures that just, let's look at Delver. Said we were going to look at Delver, and now we're going to be looking at Delver. So like, it has a lot of things like Delver of Secrets, Deathrite Shaman. It tries to get down, protect its guy. I think that the decks will probably be turning more towards something like Toxic Deluge. Let's see, is there another... Let's see if there's a different... MTG Top 8 will be better for Delver because Delver's there's a lot of tech you can use in your Delver deck. So, when you have a list that has a lot of variation in it, you always want to use MTG Top 8 because it's very easy to look at the different ones that are just there. I mean, if you, let's say Grixis Delver, right? We want to look at a Grixis Delver list. Bazinga, there's a million different versions of it. So let's see this one. I'm sure there'll be little variations between them. This one's got 2 Gurmag, 4 Pyromancer, and has no True Name Nemesis. This version has, oh, actually, this one is the same. Oh, maybe people found... Let's do a different tournament versus the MTG constructed. No, it looks like people have just... Oh, this guy's running 4 Stifle. That's interesting. I just clicked on that one. Legacy Premier. This one's got 3 Stifle. This one has 2 True Name Nemesis and 2 Young Pyromancer. I like this version. So with Delver decks, I think Delver is 100% going to be good. I think Delver might be better now than it was because you want to be playing your Delver deck into combo decks. Instead of playing like a blue slower one, you kind of just want to be able to close them out nice and fast, especially Ad Nauseam Tendrils. You want to just knock them out as fast as possible, given that you can't lock them out of the game with Counterbalance Top. So let's see. Death and Taxes, I don't think Death and Taxes is going to really go up anymore. Maybe it does, depending on like if my predictions are wrong and a different deck floats to the top. Goblins, whatever, it's Goblins. Could be good, could be bad. Zombie Bombardment, Control, Aggro Loam will still be good. I mean, Chalice of the Void is just a very good card. If you don't know what Aggro Loam is, let's click on Loam. Oh, also lands. I didn't mention lands. Lands will probably just be, really good because a lot of people are going to be running non-basic lands, I assume. Because Miracles was like the biggest basic land deck, so that one getting kicked is going to make a change. Either people are going to be running more basics or people are going to be running more wastelands. But they'll probably go more the wasteland direction, is my assumption. Going more disruptive versus playing through the disruption. In order to make your land drops, to make it to your bigger threats, you need a deck that does that, and that doesn't really exist now that Miracles is gone. Because Miracles needed the land drops to get to Jace, it needed mana to use the top, it needed mana to play Counterbalance and the top at the same time. Whereas now there's not really a deck that requires you to function that much like that as a control deck. Like you can just use your Ponders and your Brainstorms. But yeah, this deck, still good. You've got Chalice of the Void, Dark Confidant, Knight of the Reliquary, and you Skoos, you'll win most of your games. Well, you're not going to win most of your games in Legacy with Skoos, but the saying you Skoos, you lose exists for a reason. It's won a lot of fair matches of Legacy and Modern. So let's see. That's most. Yeah, I'd say that's most of the decks that I think are going to be making a bigger impact on the format within, let's say, until Vegas. I don't want to say the next couple weeks. Let's say till Vegas. So that's my first impression of the Sensei's Divining Top ban. And that's probably about it for the discussion on the top. Unless I can think about something a little bit last minute here. Maybe I'll look through. There are some decks that got hit with top, leaving them, unfortunately. I should talk about that maybe. It's like Nick Fit, unfortunately, did lose Sensei's Divining Top, the deck. As you can see, I have about 6 different variants of Nick Fit buried here. Here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all of them have Sensei's Divining Top in them. Eldrazi Post, I mean, I didn't think that was going to last past the top banning anyway, but I mean, that lost, unless you were running a version that didn't run top, but top's quite good. Those are most of the decks that I played with top. Well, I guess Esper Mentor, Gifts 2. Oh, God. All the bug control decks that I made with top. I guess Dead Gael loses it too, but that's not like, you know. Dead Gael isn't exactly the most popular legacy deck on planet Earth. But let's see. That's how the meta's going to change. I already talked about Toxic Deluge. I imagine people are going to be playing to the board a bit now in Legacy, so creatures like Baleful Strix will be really well positioned. True Name Nemesis, I believe, will be really well positioned in the format. If you want more of an idea of just like versus decks, just cards, if you're more of like an experimenter and you want to try some things, I would definitely say go with True Name. Leovold seems like you'd be in a good spot because there's a lot of, if there's in theory these combo decks coming back of Show and Tell decks draw a lot of cards, Storm draws a lot of cards, Elves draws a lot of cards. So being able to cut down that card draw is always good, and you know the control decks are going to be drawing cards, and the Delver decks are going to be drawing cards. So I think Leovold is well positioned. Gurmag Angler, I don't know yet. It depends how much people play Baleful Strix, but I assume Gurmag Angler is still going to be good. Young Pyromancer, Grixis Control could make a little bit of a kickback. I don't know if that'll be good, but it could be, you know, it could be back. I would love to test some Grixis Control. But let's see here. Is that all my thoughts on the bannings? Those are all the decks I thought that were going to be well positioned. Yeah, I guess that's it. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out for the Legacy discussion. If you have any questions, you can PM me. You can also show up. I'm streaming on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays at Blob James Blob, Twitch TV, so if you want to check that out, come hang out. And if you're here on the Twitch channel while this was being filmed live, I'll see all of you tomorrow at 12 o'clock. And enjoy this new, fresh Legacy meta. Oh, that is not how you close that. This is how you close it.